Hello, and welcome to Cry Havoc Wargaming, dedicated to bringing you the uncommon. For those of you who haven't met me, my name is Ron, and today we're going to be doing a review of the Tramp Steamer kit from Sally Forth. So let's get started. A few years ago, I was looking for a good ship model to add to my Pulp Alley gaming. There's a number of ship models that are available in 28mm in MDF. The first one that I came across was TT Combat's container ship. They make a sort of container ship. The Tramp Steamer that I'm about to show you from Sally Forth. And now there's also a beautiful ship, MV Australis, made by Black Site Studios, which I suspect I will eventually have in my collection. And I wanted a ship that I could use for 1930s pulp gaming. So what I lean towards, as I mentioned already, is Sally Forth's Tramp Steamer. This ship also has the advantage of being the middle of those sizes, though the other two that I mentioned are both have extension pieces, so you can make them larger and larger and larger. But this one was a middle size, it was a steamship, had more of the classic look I was going to, which of course doesn't mean it's only usable in that classic period. I could use this in games dating anywhere from, say, turn of the 20th century and maybe World War I games, all the way through the pulp period, all the way through World War II, and it could just be an older modern vessel in the modern world. So it's not unusable in the modern world. So what we're going to do right now is stop just chatting about this model. And I'm going to go ahead and take you to the hobby table, and we'll take a look at the actual model on the gaming table. So here's the Tramp Freighter on the table. Assembled, mostly finished. I may do a little bit more things to it. Though recently I was asked about a few of the boats that were in my video, The River Pirates, a Pulp Alley adventure. So I thought I might talk a little bit about some of those before we got started. The first thing I'm going to mention is this boat wreck, and I don't remember, unfortunately, who made this. I wish I did. These are resin castings. I bought these originally for Perilous Island. There's a requirement in Perilous Island that there be a wrecked vessel out in the bay in one of the scenarios, and so I thought this was a pretty inexpensive and good way to meet that requirement. I don't know who made it. I don't know if they're still available. However, a Google search for wrecked boats showed me that there's an awful lot of really good boat models out there today, so there's some better ones out there anyway. But if someone does know who that is and wants to put that in the notes down below, I'd appreciate that. Then next are these longboats, these two longboats, and this is really why I wanted to cover these other boats. These longboats are a product of Barrage Games, a company out of Spain, and I think very highly of this company. They do a lot of different boats. They're mostly a terrain company, but they do a bunch of different boats. They're divided on their webpage by part of the world or by date. These are Napoleonic longboats that I originally got for sharp practice. They're nice models, clean casts. They don't have benches the way they really should, but that as a wargaming piece works really well. That's why I put one here to show what it looks like without people and one with people. You can easily put quite a few 28mm sailors in this boat, so it's a really nice model. The other thing, Barrage does not only a bunch of different boats and has a lot of different options available, but they've also been a great company to work with, and I don't think I've ever placed an order with them that I didn't get extra things. So when I bought these two longboats, I got a large, more typical civilian rowboat with them. And when I bought a blockhouse for my French Indian War stuff. I think they actually sell it as part of their Spanish Civil War line or Spanish Napoleonic. But it's basically a log blockhouse, so perfect for American situations. They gave me another one of those longboats with that. Now here's the ship that we actually want to talk about. This is mostly an MDF model with gray board. It's a nice model. I was a little unhappy. You can see here some of the pieces didn't fit as well together as I would have preferred. The derricks are a little bit overly fidgety to put together. I think they look good when they're done, but they're made so you can swivel and move them, which I don't think was necessary and made it a whole lot more fragile and challenging to work with. There's also 4 hatches on the top here. These hatches come off, so if you want direct access to the areas down below. So that's kind of nice. But this also all comes apart. There's 2 rooms on the bow and the stern that I don't really have access to, but they're also kind of small, so I don't know how much you'd actually do in there. This comes off here. Let me take Jane Driscoll out of there. So there's a chart room, there's the bridge, there comes with some equipment, telegraphs, a steering wheel. These maps were included in the instruction book, so that's all fully accessible. Then there's the mess deck down below it. This opens up again, and you'll see here there's 2 more little hatches. I need to touch that up. But there's the mess deck here. These holes are designed, there's one up in here too. These are designed to put in a peg system that'll help you keep the stuff from sliding around. This has been an issue. There's these little fine points in the gray board, and it's real easy for those to get damaged, and mine are. These also come off, leaving you with your below deck area, the holes in the front, the bow and aft, and then a room for an engine room. I do wish it may have come with some mechanism for a motor. Looking right now at some possibility of what to put in there as spoilers. I also think I'm going to respray the hull, just the base of it, to get a small red below the waterline, which I think will really look pretty nice. It does need to be another coat of black anyway. The cardboard was rough. Part of it was because of handling issues in areas where it got damaged. Part of it is because it took me far too long to build this model. This model has been sitting around half built in my house for over a year, and that's particularly with all this gray board and with some humidity issues in my house, that was not the best plan, and so some of the gray board got a little damaged, and that's affected how it took the paint and how the finish works. So anyway, I'm pleased with the model though. Like I said, some parts of it are a little finicky, but the end product is nice. There's a couple model ships out there in the world, but this was the only one I saw at the time. It looks like Reversco may have one now. I thought that might be a paper model. But there weren't many that were doing this earlier, the 20th century look. And for Pulp Alley, that's a real nice period to have. I can use this in Pulp Alley. I could still use it in Spy-Fi. So that's a little more versatile. I probably am going to buy MV Australias eventually for Don't Look Back. But for the things I normally do, this has proved to be a very nice model. With a little work, a lot of things you can add to it. I already have some plans. I have some life rings that I'm painting right now that are going to be affixed in some locations on it. You could easily get the ventilation scoops. Got to be careful with adding detail to the model because there's only so much room. It is a little cramped. The boat it looks pretty big, but when you start putting stuff on it, it starts getting really short. It's about 24 inches long. But there's all sorts of little accessory things. If you go to the Virtual Armchair General, who makes a lot of ships fittings for their breech load and boilers game, or Reversco, they both do a lot of little accessory detailing for ships. So you could put searchlights on these. You could replace the MDF steering wheel with a metal one, including one that might be a little more appropriate for a vessel of this nature. So there it is, Sally Forth's Tramp Steamer model. This is an excellent kit. It's not inexpensive, but it's a pretty large model, and I think you'll get a lot of playing use out of it, particularly if you're intrigued at all in nautical games. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have this model yourself, and if you have any comments you'd like to make about it, or you have questions regarding the ship, go ahead and put those in the comments down below. We also look to those comments for any idea for further content you might be interested in seeing here on Cry Havoc Wargaming. If you've enjoyed this video and found it useful, I hope you'll hit like. And if you'd like to continue to receive notifications regarding content and videos like this one to help you decide how to better spend your money or time in your wargaming hobby, then please hit subscribe and ring our bell. Until next time, cheers.